Welcome back. Well, let's talk about fuel prices and the constant increase that we've been seeing in fuel prices and LPG prices. Well, not really the constant. There's been some amount of breather that we've got in the last few days, which makes one ask the question, is there some connection with the upcoming state elections that we are looking at? First up, let me pull up the charts for you to show you how in about the last couple of months, the prices of crude petroleum have actually moved. And we're going to talk more about Brent crude because that's largely what India imports. So if you see from the first week of January right up to this week itself and up to March 8th, the prices of Brent crude in dollars per barrel have gone from 59.09 to 68.24, 64, 63.69 and now 68.24. Now, in the same breath, while the Brent has been constantly going up with absolutely no change in that trajectory, prices of petrol in Delhi, and we're taking one example, this largely mirrored across the country, have continuously gone up from 83 to 88, then 90, 91, 91. So if you see the last few days, not much change has happened, which is interesting. But of course, a massive protest has gone on in the parliament over farm laws, over fuel price hikes and LPG price hikes. We've barely seen any business getting conducted with the opposition stepping up on the price hikes. I also do want to tell you that there were 11 price hikes in January this year that we saw, and 15 price hikes that we saw in the month of February. And I'm keeping account to see if the crude continues to go up in this manner, how many happen in March, especially in the second week of March, and if there is a correlation with just the market prices or is it also with the poll season. Let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us as we talk about what happens next. Will we get any relief, or is the relief only going to be for the poll-bound states by the state governments? Vishwas Pathak of the BJP joins me this evening. Tausif Khan, advocate and a political analyst. He's a TMC supporter, joins us this evening. Kawai Satyan of the AIADMK continues to stay on with us. And Supriya Srinath, national spokesperson for the Congress party. As I come to you, Supriya, I'm also looking at some of the earlier trends. Lok Sabha 2019, international oil prices went up by 9%. Petrol in our country only went up by 1%. And actually, the bigger chunk of change happened only after polling ended, before counting. Then is it really prudent to say that the prices are only connected to international crude?
Absolutely not. The prices in this country are only connected to politics. In an ideal world, the price should be connected to international crude because that is what deregulation means. If prices go up, we pay more, but if prices come down, we must get relief. The reality is that crude oil prices went down to levels of 19, sub $20 a barrel, but there was no respite for people like you and me because the government of the day chose to profiteer instead and kept raising excise duty. And also, let me tell you, they raised the portion of the excise duty which the central government sequesters for itself. They did not raise basic excise which they share with the state. They instead raised additional and special excise, and they have raised that 12 times to garner about 22 lakh crore rupees. When prices are depressed, they do not give us the relief. When prices go up, they look the other way. And then they want to blame the state governments. They now actually have the audacity to say that these corporations are independent. You can keep selling corporations, they are not independent then, but when it comes to reducing prices, you want to look the other way. It cannot work like that. And when opposition wants to raise this issue in parliament, the Sansad TV blocks the opposition. And when we raise this issue with the Speaker of the House, he actually turns around and says, "Kya dikhana hai? Hangama dikhayenge." अरे मान्यवर आप क्या करते थे 2014 से पहले? This is parliamentary democracy. This is the biggest burning issue of the day. LPG cylinders have gone up by 225 rupees in the last 3 months alone. 6 price hikes. Why is price not hiking right now? Because states are in election. When Bihar went to election, there was no hike for 50 days. And then, of course, the bazooka hikes come. How is this government calling itself pro-poor? Because the poor suffer the most due to high prices and due to the huge taxation that the government is making them pay. and the marginalized suffer the most? Somebody has to answer these questions.
Well, yes, somebody does should answer these questions, and Vishwas Pathak, I'm going to direct these questions at you. And I just want to clarify, mind you, when I highlight the correlation between elections and prices, and when I say that the prices have constantly gone up, and for Brent they're still going up and not for us, I am not batting for any more price hikes. So please don't think that I am sitting here and asking you, why are you not hiking prices anymore? I am just pointing out, Vishwas Pathak, that when there are elections around, strangely, the market correlation argument goes flying out of the window.
No, not at all. See, presently, water prices are going up in terms of petrol and diesel. It is a matter of concern for us also and as a government also. That's the reason Petroleum Minister Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan has made appeal to all these oil producing companies to increase their production so that this demand supply ratio is matched and prices are stabilized and coming down. See, this is the automatic correction process. Like in 2018, prices were something like 82 rupees, which came down to 64, and again it came back. So it's a system-driven process. You cannot control it really. However, Mr. Modi has reduced these prices in last 5 years 2 times whenever it was required. Today also, people are expecting from government to reduce the prices. Government can do that. However, we have to look at the fiscal deficit to the extent of 11% fiscal deficit we are going to face because of this pandemic. Therefore, because of the fiscal discipline, government is not in a position to pass on these benefits. Otherwise, the inflation rate, which has been always contended by this government to the extent of 4 to 5%, whereas as Congress spokesperson is saying, under the Prime Ministership of Manmohan Singh, our inflation rate was 11%. So our government is pro-poor. We are always thinking about the poor.
Then don't give us the argument, Mr. Vishwas Pathak. Mr. Vishwas Pathak, then don't give us the argument that you can't do anything. Then you admit that you can do something and you are doing something, but you don't give us the argument that this is because crude prices are going up. This is because there's a supply constraint and prices are getting jacked up. What can we do? Don't give us that argument. Then say, yes, we are taking more and more money out of your pocket. Yes, we are not passing on the benefit to you because we need your money. We can't come up with better ways of raising money to run this country. Why don't you just say that?
Can I please comment?
I will tell you what is the fiscal discipline. I will tell you what is the fiscal discipline. Under the leadership of Mr. Modi, within 6 years, our economy has gone up from 2 trillion to 3 trillion. Our budget size has gone up from 14 lakhs to 34 lakhs without increasing direct taxes. And this indirect taxes also, which used to be 23% average, has come down to 18%. There was an outstanding bond.
Does it matter whether you increase the tax or not? You're constantly increasing the fuel tax. Mr. Vishwas Pathak, who are you misleading? You're taking the money from me any which ways. You're taking the money from the Garib Admi also. You're taking the money from the middle class also. What are you talking about? Supriya Sen wants to come in.
It is for the betterment of public.
Sir, let me just finish, sir. I don't know which public are you referring to, because it's not just the middle class, but the poor who are bearing the brunt of your indecisiveness and your insensitivity. First point first. You talking about a growing economy. You have halved the growth of this economy from 8.3% in 2016 to 4.1% before COVID hit us. We will shrink by 8%. From the 5 fastest growing economies in the world, we are at a bottom 164 slowing down economies. Which world are you living in? And direct taxes. Direct taxes is the marker for the rich. There is a reason why indirect taxes like petrol and diesel are called poor people's taxes, because the poor end up paying a lot. And sir, I don't know if you understand economics, because if you did, you will understand this is also inflationary. Look at where food, fuel, vegetable, oil prices are. Look at where core inflation is. Look at what the RBI has said. Look at the RBI's commentary on inflation. I don't think your government has the faintest idea about economic management, because if they did, you would do something to curtail inflation. You are letting prices rise. You are letting the common man suffer, despite the fact that he's facing acute economic slowdown. There have been job losses. There have been wage cuts. You have the foggiest of economy. You have completely ruined the
Yes.
economy. It's about flourishing Indian economy. You really are living in a la-la land. आप किस दुनिया में रह के कौन
Okay.
सी economy
So-
start कर रहे हैं आप जान सकते हैं.
Tanvi,
Let me
I
add
want
to
to ask
that.
one
Let me
simple
add to
question
that.
to
Supriya
Supriya
made
ji.
and referred to 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, Mr. Vishwas Patak. 1 minute, Mr. Vishwas Patak. Supriya mentioned the RBI governor making this comment and saying that the government, state, and the centre together need to reduce the fuel tax burden on the citizens. I will add to it. Now, individual brokerage firms, research firms, the biggest of the names in the market are also saying the same thing. ICICI Securities has come out with a report which actually says that the government has room. The government has room to cut excise or duty on petrol and diesel by 8.5 rupees per litre without impacting its target for revenue from the tax on petrol or diesel. Without impacting your target. That's what
And
the
your
ICICI
fiscal
Security
deficit is
Research
9%.
report
What
says.
fiscal
So,
discipline
Mr.
are you
Vishwas
voting
Patak,
now? What
if
are
you
you
want to
talking
do the
about?
fiscal math argument,
But the fiscal deficit is 9%.
fiscal math argument completely destroyed
You're saying
here.
that.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Tanvi, I fully
let me
agree.
just,
If
Supriya,
central
let me
government
just
can
bring in
reduce
also Kovai, Satyan, Kovai. Yeah, okay, let me take the question to the state governments. Why don't the state governments do something? Bring in the relief. Kovai, at least as a poll-bound state, you can give that relief. Look at what Assam has done. They've given so much relief to their people ahead of the elections. You're not doing the same.
Yeah, Tanvi, the debate on fuel price hike is something like this. It has never found an ideal solution for the long term. It was always a knee-jerk reaction which everybody expects the governments to do. If there is a rise and hike in elections, or they say let the state take the burden. And if somebody wants to wait for a clarity from the central government whether they want to part the burden, there is no clarity as such. There is an indication at some point saying that yes, we are considering that to be brought under GST. And other side, the finance minister comes out and says, let the state and central government have to sit and work together. Wherein at the epidemic state, wherein each and every state is inching back to normalcy, wherein the revenues are not certain, every direct and indirect revenues are taken a beating, but the state government has the onus to keep the best of health care. There is always a cause and effect in economy. But as far as this fuel prices are concerned, it's like passing on the egg from one basket to another. When the central government says, and my eggs are already full in my basket, don't pass me on any. You take your own call. But when at the same time people expect everything to be given free to the people, my opposition is such that everything for them is like, in the name of Aam Janata, they say give COVID vaccine free, give this free, give that free. Everything has to
What
go
rant
free,
are you
and they say
talking
everybody is poor
No,
in
no,
this country.
nobody is
But at the
asking
same time, they
Kovai to
don't
give
talk about how
anything
a state
free
has
right
to-
now. That's not what I'm asking. But what is the point in you and your government offering freebies to the people on one side when you take out the money from their pocket only with high fuel taxes? That's the question I'm asking you. There is no point in saying I will give you free ration, I will give you 1,000 rupees cash, I will waiver off your loan, I will give you, discounts on your gold purchase. What is the point when you're taking that money from the poor man and the middle class only?
Tanvi, to answer you that question, you should understand the dynamics of this state. Let me take this opportunity to brief. There is a record production of 34 lakh tons, which is procured by the government. So the government is in a better position to understand what is my input and what is the way I can give it as an output. At the same time, when there is a reduction in fuel prices, I have to take a hit on my revenue. We are not negating the fact that the fuel price hike will definitely hit the poor and downtrodden. It will definitely take a deep in their pockets. But as a state, as we have larger responsibilities as well, I need to know if my revenues are falling short, whom I am supposed to knock the doors other than center for a compensation or for a clarity. Yes, it is the onus. There is an equal responsibility on state as well as the center.
Can I please
The
stop
buck
you for a
doesn't
minute?
start and stop with the state alone. Buck doesn't start and stop with the state. The state
Okay,
has the
okay.
onus
I want a
on
quick
different
comment from
parameters.
Tausif and then
There
I'll
are-
go across to Supriya Sreenet. Okay, so the blame game between the states and the center for clarity for longer term plan continues. Quick comment from Tausif as well. Tausif, I have more examples here. I can look at general elections in 2019, Karnataka polls in 2018, Gujarat polls in 2017, and what seems to be the trend this time also, the prices are not going up anymore, even though crude is rising because we are in election season. Why do governments tell us it's all about taxes and money and international prices then?
Because Modi is misleading people. Please let us go back to the end of Congress regime. When Modi government took the charge, what was the cost of crude oil and what was the rate of central excise tax collection? It was about 10 rupees. How much money is being collected now as a central excise? It is close to 30 rupees. What was the crude oil price at that time and what is it now? It is much lesser than what it was then. So who is pocketing the money? The money is going in the pocket of central government. It's the central government's prerogative. Central government, Prime Minister Modi himself, when he was doing an election campaign, he said that petrol prices will be down when he comes to power. But he has failed to keep his promises. And he only treats these as an election jumla. Then the onus is on the people. People must understand that BJP government is misleading the people, the nation. And they have to answer it in an electoral terms and put a pressure on the government. This is the duty of the government.
No, but that's the whole problem. You can't just put the onus on one side. It's the states and the centers. You all refuse to bring fuel. You all refuse to come up with a proper structure, work on it together to bring any kind of relief to the Aam Aadmi and then put the blame on each other. I'm running out of time. Quickly, one comment from Supriya Srinath before we wrap this up. Yeah.
The reality is that when the BJP was trying to bring about the GST, every opposition party said, bring petrol in this. They refused to do that. Even today, clause number 279, subsection A, very clearly states you can bring in petrol and diesel at any given time of the day. The government in parliament has said that there has been no request from states. Did you consult the states before bringing in the three draconian legislative laws on farming? How dare you blame the states? You have owe the states 7 lakh crore worth of rupees as far as GST is concerned. With what face do you blame the states? You have sequestered 22 lakh crore rupees. 3 rupees was the tax on diesel in 2014. Today the tax is 33 rupees by the central government alone. So have some shame, bring some relief to the common people and understand 101 economics. You have to spur demand. Demand cannot be spurred if you start doing this to prices. Any price rise is going to dampen demand further. It will put the cycle of investment and jobs recklessly back in motion.
Well, I don't know, when it's going to happen. The chorus for cut in taxes is growing louder and louder. Right now, we're only witnessing a halt and a pause in our price hikes. Even though the Brent crude continues to go up, we haven't seen that reflect in our prices in the last few days. I don't know if the government is actually waiting to get closer to the elections before announcing tax cuts. Frankly, the sooner the better, even if they want to time it to the elections. From Reserve Bank of India to the biggest of the experts and brokerage firms are now saying this. There is enough room for you to cut on the taxes. We need to bring in this relief. Otherwise, the inflation gets hit and the entire economics goes flying out of the window. And if the government, state governments and the center believe that election season is a good time to bring that in, then so be it. Let's bring in that relief. But it is required now, along with a better plan, for a leaner, clearer structure that doesn't just put the entire burden on the common man. Completely out of time. Big thank you to all of the panelists who joined us for this conversation. Thank you to our viewers as well for joining us tonight.